Hey, what's up? I'm Terumi. I'm native Japanese teacher and I can speak English, Greek, and German. So I grew up in Japan for 30 years and then I didn't know how to speak English properly until 8:30. So now I'm 36 years old and just 6 years I learned this, multilingual. I learned these three languages and I became a multilingual. So, because it's such a short time and my English is definitely not perfect, so please don't judge me. And also, today I just wanted to talk. If you still feeling like you want to learn Japanese, you want to speak Japanese like native, as close as possible. And I just want to say you just don't give up. And I'm working every day and then I am a single mother and then I don't study like every day 10 hours. I don't have time. I'm not university student. You see, it's just I'm normal person who grew up in Japan whole my life. And then I was hoping to be able to speak English like as close as possible to the native because it's just cool, It's really really cool. I'm sure you're feeling like if you can speak Japanese, it's gonna be a super cool. I'm sure you feel like this. But it's the reality is learning language itself is quite boring. A lot of work you need to do. Try imagine what kind of information you really need to learn, be able in order to speak really like native. Try imagine you go to the library in New York, in California, where whatever, like biggest library in your country. It's so much books, right? And that's a whole English. Try imagine it's become everything Japanese. It's a massive data. When you actually say, I want to learn the new language, which means you need to understand everything, which is a massive data. And logically, it's kind of impossible to memorize all this massive data in just a few hours or a few even years or maybe 10 years. Still, like, maybe it's not enough. And then the reality is, of course, a time. I'm like 36 years old. I don't have time. And then I think it's most of people even give up because I don't have time. I'm a bit too late. I wish I could start like from childhood or something. Like, I think it's most of people are really kind of disappointed that I don't have time. Because when you see this massive data, you can see that how many hours you need to spend. But today I'm just not talking about, you should stop thinking about or you should actually give up in learning Japanese. As I said, I don't have time to study so much, but still I can learn three languages at the same time. I'm learning English still. I'm improving. My pronunciation is not perfect yet, and I'm still practicing. And then Greek also, I can learn so many phrases, so many actually way to talk, so many words and pronunciation. And German, I just started last year. So many things I should learn. But I don't need to study 1 hour for each languages. And also, I don't need to even sit down and looking at the textbook and like a child. I don't need to do it. And so today, I just want to say you just need 10 minutes. 10 minutes to be able to speak Japanese. But this 10 minutes is very important how you spend for this 10 minutes is everything. It's so important, this 10 minutes. What do you think? 10 minutes is, everybody has it, right? Everybody. That's why I'm saying, like, everybody can actually be able to speak Japanese if you can spend this 10 minutes. But it's the important things is every day. And this is really, really important because, imagine, like, if you don't do it every day, what's happened is so difficult to memorize. So I can actually give you the example. I have met one American person who lived in Japan for 10 years, and he didn't know how to say, "Can I have some water? Can I have some water?" 水ちょっともらってもいいですか? 水ちょっともらってもいいですか? 水もらってもいいですか? Such a very useful phrase. And after 10 years, he didn't know how to say this, "Can I have some water?" I don't say it's stupid, but he was definitely making effort. He said he learned how to write down hiragana, katakana, and a little bit of kanji. And also his wife is Japanese, and he's living for 10 years. And he said he doesn't know how to say, "Can I have some water?" What do you think? Why these things happen? This is one of the things we really want to avoid, these things, even, I don't know, just the basic things, just the basic things. Can I have some water? Let's go somewhere and I want to do something. I'm happy. I'm glad. Yeah, it's cool. Like, I've never been, or I have been there, or have you ever been there? How's going? Are you guys recently busy? How's going your business? It's just everyday conversation. It's not really big deal that you need to spend 10 years and everyday study. I'm just really, really need to think why these things happen. That's why, before you decided to really learn Japanese, you really need to be sure what is the best way to study Japanese. Yeah. So I said 10 minutes you need to spend, but let's talk about how you need to spend this 10 minutes. So first of all, before we talking about this 10 minutes, what should you do is, first of all, you really need to decide what exactly do you want to be. Which means, for example, Japanese anime is such a famous things in the world, right? Anime, like Ghibli or Totoro, like Attack on Titan and Naruto and everything. And then people actually, I think they like anime, and they feel like it's cool to understand what they are talking, and as they say, I want to learn Japanese. But it's, I want to learn Japanese. As I said, it's, you can imagine this a big library. It is massive data, as I said. And then if your goal is only you want to watch anime, because as I said, it's a massive data. You cannot just travel everywhere like randomly. It's just that you don't feel any progress because it's a massive like data, like a space. You need to decide a target. You want to go to the Mars, or you want to go to the Venus, or you want to go to moon. You need to decide the direction because it's a massive data. Politics to astronomy to food to science to like history, samurai, whatever. It's a massive data when you decide learning language, and especially you chose this one of the most difficult language in the world, Japanese language. you know. If we don't target, if we don't decide the goal exactly, you don't achieve anything. You feel like, I learned today hiragana, but I don't feel anything. I don't understand anything. And it's spending time for 10 years. I don't feel anything because you just travel space without any goal. It's never ending story. You understand? So that's why if you say, I just want to understand anime, then you need to avoid all writing. All writing. You don't need to learn this 2000 kanji. You don't need to learn hiragana, katakana. You really need to focus on only vocabulary and the phrases and then the proper pronunciation to actually earn these listening skills. But then how? There are so many actually questions. If you just listen every day, is it possible to understand? So I am mom. I have a daughter, and I was just observing how children really start understanding the language and be able to speak, and also she can watch anime in Japanese. And then this is my personal opinion. I think it's just impossible to just only watching anime and understand everything. Because my daughter, for example, she just can recognize the words and not everything. Of course, it's 5 years old, and let's say watching Pokemon, she's not understanding every story, and then she's not understanding every single words. But she just watching the visual and also imagine the story and the several parts because she already using in her everyday life. For example, iko means let's go, and she already using, and she actually hear the anime iko. Oh, this is iko, let's go. So which means it's understanding anime related to your everyday life. How much you already using, how much you actually know exact way to use, and then it's exactly same way they are using in anime, and then they actually start understanding. So I'm really not sure if you will be able to understand only watching anime without using in your everyday life. I'm really not sure if it's possible. So then about the other common needs is, they want to read Japanese books, then this is all about letters. Watching anime is all about listening and also understanding, the phrases, vocabulary, expression. But if you say, I want to read Japanese books, which means all about it's spelling, right? Spelling. It's if I want to read an English newspaper, I need to understand the vocabulary and spelling to actually recognize what is this words. So which means all about spelling. So then spelling is you really need to, read all the time and also understand the vocabulary. So I think it's maybe you really focus on the vocabulary and then read all day long to really recognize what is the alphabet, what is the actual spelling, which is, it's going to be a Japanese. So kanji, how much you can really recognize. It's going to be a 2,500 kanji. And usually native people study kanji for almost 12 years, 6 years elementary school, and another 6 years is high school, junior high school. So which is 12 years we study kanji almost every single day, plus everyday life, right? It's not only school, we using every day. So you cannot imagine how many hours we spend time to until recognize 2,500 kanji. So if you're just spending time for even 1 hour, 10 minutes to just learn kanji, it's never really reach any native level. So you can see, how many hours native people spend. So you need to spend exactly same hours. So for me, I think it's impossible. As an adult, as an adult, 36 years old, if I am foreigner, if I'm, let's say, American, I don't actually have this desire to really read books because it's just so much. And yeah, and me personally, I like more communication. So I'm not the person who just sit down and looking at the book. So I don't know. What about you? So then the third needs, common needs, is of course people who want to communicate with native, to join the conversation, and then to communicate with natives. I think language learning, one of the biggest impact, one of the best impact is, I think, this communication part. You can imagine, let's say I am Japanese, and then I'm gonna say I'm learning English. And then let's say I have a proficiency, English proficiency, which is I don't have, to be honest. But let's say I have a proficiency, I have a TOEIC, I can read the books. But then if I say I can't communicate, I can't speak so much, because it's 2022 right now, it's communication and speaking skill is one of the biggest impact, because it's YouTube video, like Zoom. You can actually really speak with anyone in the world online. In 1950, we didn't have internet, so we needed to write down everything in letters. So that's why the writing is more important than the speaking skill in that time. But now, 2022, no one really, want to write down something in letters and send some Christmas card or something. Which is very traditional way. It's nice to have this traditional Christmas card, but it's, most of the time is, video, voice message and everything. So this communication, which is speaking skill, is one of the coolest things in the future, and now this 2022. Then, so difficult to imagine yourself, you are speaking Japanese fluently. And I think it's most of people are focusing on writing and reading, because these are things you can do it by yourself quietly with Wanikani, Duolingo, textbooks, Genki no Nihongo, whatever, everything you can do by yourself for earning writing skill and reading skills. But speaking skill is quite so difficult to earn by yourself alone. First of all, speaking skill is one of the biggest impact is pronunciation, right? Pronunciation. You can see here right now, if I don't pronounce it everything not nicely, some people are gonna say, what did you say, what? It's so difficult to hear. The communication doesn't happen. So which means pronunciation is one of the biggest impact in speaking skills. So that's why if you say, I just want to communicate with native, then this 10 minutes training is gonna really help you. And you even don't need to study. And even if you have opportunity to speak with Japanese people, you maybe live in Japan, or even not, like I've never lived in English speaking country. I've never lived in the United States, UK, Australia, nowhere. I've never lived in, but I'm YouTuber. I can speak to the camera. I can meet on Zoom. I think that is a good training for me. So that's why it doesn't matter where you live. But the most important thing is, as I said, it's every day you need to use it. Every day. Because as I said, it's this massive data. The language is massive, like you can really go library. Big. If you're not doing every day, the worst things is you can't memorize anything. You can't memorize anything. This is the reason you need to spend just even 10 minutes to spend time with a language. Especially if you say, I want to speak, then, as I said, pronunciation is everything. Have you ever felt like I can't speak like with native speed? For example, can I have some water? So many Japanese people can't pronounce can I have some water? Can I have some water? It's slow and also can't pronounce like properly. The same things in Japanese also. 水ちょっともらってもいいですか? is a native tone and a native speed, but you feel like so fast. How? These things happen. So of course, yeah, we're spending time every single day. So it's maybe thousands of hours we said these things, 水ちょっともらってもいいですか? 水ちょっともらってもいいですか? So that's why, as I said, 10 minutes, if you have time, you can learn. And you can actually prioritize what topics you really want to learn. You really want to speak. If you don't need to talk about the astronomy, there's no meaning to say, the gravity. Like, gravity is, what was it in Japanese? Oh my God, I forgot. What was it? Oh my God, I don't remember. Gravity in Japanese, just a moment. Gravity is 重力, for example, 重力. But then you don't need to learn 重力, gravity in Japanese, right? If you don't need to talk about astronomy. So that's why, it's a massive data. As I said, you need to decide what category you want to learn. It's a library. It's categorized, right? This is a cooking book. This is actually economy book. This is like a lifestyle book or like a yoga book. You need to decide what do you want to talk about. This is a really key. And then if you decide, okay, that's everyday communication, then you really need to practice just the phrases. How can I share my emotion? How can I actually say, can I have some water? How can I, because I go to a restaurant always, how can I say, can I order something? 注文してもいいですか? If you don't prioritize, it's the same things happen like this American person who living in Japan for already 10 years, but also he don't know how to say, can I have some water properly? Because he travel maybe too much vocabulary, too much flashcard. As I said, it's space. Japanese language is like space. If you just don't decide a category, what do you want to talk about? The fact is you don't remember anything. So that's why you just need 10 minutes to actually exercises which phrase is most important and practice your pronunciation, because the pronunciation you need time to practice. I couldn't actually pronounce properly in English, without training. I did so much. I think I told you in the other video, so many times I pronounce literally because my mouth didn't move properly. And I said, literally. I said so many times. So pronunciation is you need a time to do this training, 10 minutes, with the right phrases, with the useful phrases. And then every single day, you can actually start carrying on the conversation. Hey, how are you? Like, お元気ですか? 元気です。どこに住んでるんですか? Where are you living? 東京に今5年ぐらい住んでます。I'm living in Tokyo for 5 years. It's step by step, you actually learn these useful phrases. Just you need 10 minutes, 4 days, 4 phrases. It's not big deal. But it's maybe too much grammar, too much flashcard, or maybe zero target in the topic, and it's traveling all over the world, which is like Japanese space, and then doesn't have any, skill. So 10 minutes, if you have it, I'm sure you have this, speaking skills. And as I said, other needs like watching anime, totally different things. And I really have no idea if you can really understand everything just by watching anime. And also reading books. I don't, to be honest, it's like sounds quite impossible. But yeah, if you really have so much time, like if you don't need to work, you can spend time 10 hours every day, maybe it's possible. So what do you think today's topics? What is actually the best way to learn Japanese? And if you want to speak, you just need 10 minutes to do the training.